Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to our series on veterans around the area of Charlotte, North Carolina. Today we're going to talk about a Revolutionary War hero named Lieutenant George Locke. I had a little bit of trouble finding his monument. It's pretty overgrown and it's not where my maps kept trying to tell me that it was. I believe this monument has been moved, so I'm going to have to look more into that when I do the research for this video. I hope you enjoy it though. It's a really big monument and I can't wait to tell you everything that I've learned so far about Lieutenant George Locke. In today's video, we are going to talk about a Revolutionary War hero named Lieutenant Colonel George Locke. He was captured and executed by the British forces under the command of Lord Cornwallis at the Battle of Charlotte. George Locke was born on September 17, 1752, in Grants Creek in Rowan County, North Carolina. Although not much is known about him during his lifetime before the war, we do know that he was married and he had at least one son. George Locke served with the Rowan County Regiment of the North Carolina Militia during the American Revolutionary War. The Battle of Charlotte marked the beginning of a turning point in the Southern campaign of the American Revolutionary War. In September of 1780, Lord Cornwallis had his troops assembled along the Waxhaw Creek in South Carolina, preparing them to invade North Carolina. American forces were camped just over the border along McAlpine Creek under Major General Jethro Sumner and Brigadier General William Lee Davidson. On September 24, 1780, Cornwallis began marching his troops over the state lines towards Charlotte. Cornwallis's troops greatly outnumbered their opposition, but the North Carolina Patriots proved to be surprisingly combative. American forces had no realistic expectation of stopping the advancement of Cornwallis, so Brigadier General Davidson ordered most of his small unit to retreat northward towards the town of Salisbury. But he sent 150 cavalrymen under Colonel William R. Davie towards Charlotte to delay Cornwallis and to shield the retreating American foot soldiers as the British advanced. Militia cavalrymen under Captain Joseph Graham and Major Joseph Dixon joined in to assist Colonel Davie. At noon on September 26, 1780, Cornwallis's 2,000-man army entered Charlotte along South Tryon Street. As the main body of the British Army approached, Colonel Davie had no choice but to retreat. Facing overwhelming numbers, he managed an organized retreat, even continuing to engage in skirmishes for the rest of the day and for many miles. While the British were encamped in Charlotte, Colonel Davie ordered Captain John Brandon, Major Joseph Graham, and Lieutenant George Locke, along with 25 of their men, to perform reconnaissance on the British camp. As they marched to within 50 yards of the enemy's lines, Captain Brandon proposed to advance and then deliver a volley, which they pulled off with great precision. Saber-wielding Banastre Tarleton, perhaps the most hated man from the Revolutionary War, and his troops gave chase and pursued after the small group of Americans. Tarleton had his reputation of being the most hated man of the Revolutionary War because of his brutal tactics and merciless executions of his prisoners. Captain Brandon owed his life to the fleetness of his horse, but Graham and Locke saw that their capture was imminent and they fled down a main road. Graham fell down with 9 wounds, 6 saber wounds and 3 from lead, and he was left there for dead, although he miraculously survived. However, 28-year-old George Locke was captured alive and was literally hacked to pieces right there on the spot in the most barbarous manner by Banastre Tarleton. When George Locke's body was later found, there were 2 dead British soldiers lying beside him that he had likely killed himself while he was being slaughtered. George Locke left behind a wife and child, and his brutal death was embellished in newspapers and propaganda for the rebel cause. He is remembered as a hero who stalled the advancement, even if only briefly, which allowed Davie to be able to succeed in protecting the remaining American foot soldiers. Quote, Tarleton's Quarter became a rallying cry for American troops to show no mercy to British troops during the time of battle. No doubt Cornwallis was pleased with his invasion of North Carolina as he set up his headquarters in Colonel Thomas Polk's house and issued a celebratory proclamation. However, the Battle of Charlotte was indicative of the region's violent resistance. Within just 16 days, the entire situation was reversed, and Cornwallis was the one forced to retreat back to where he came from in South Carolina. According to tradition, as he was preparing to depart the city of Charlotte, Lord Cornwallis is reported to have said, "Let's get out of here. This place is a damned hornet's nest," inspiring the nickname that Charlotte continues to bear proudly to this day. In addition to our basketball team, the Hornets, we also carry the logo of a hornet's nest on our police cars and on their badges. Many sites along the route of the British retreat, including a school and a public park on the north side of town, have been named in honor of the famous hornet's nest. This monument to George Locke was dedicated on September 26, 1911, and reads, "Lieutenant Colonel George Locke, killed by Tarleton's Dragoons, September 25, 1780. The monument is an 8-foot cairn made of field stones with a simple granite plaque embedded into it. I found conflicting information online that says perhaps the listing of Lieutenant Colonel is not accurate, although I'm not sure if that is true or what his correct title would have been if it's not true. The monument was originally located near the University City District in the area around UNC Charlotte, in the median of North Tryon Street, just south of Interstate I-85. At the time of its dedication in 1911, this spot was still 7 miles from Charlotte proper. The monument was moved in recent years due to the construction of the rail line that connects Charlotte with the university campus. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's too bad that the light rail didn't come through while I was filming. I couldn't catch it. I saw it one time as it was disappearing. I would have really liked to show you the light rail, but unfortunately, it looks like this monument needs a haircut. I'm not sure if there's anybody who's actually in charge of maintaining monuments around Charlotte. I'm interested in learning more if that is a commission that perhaps I could report that this one needs a little bit of TLC. But I really hope you enjoyed the story of Lieutenant George Locke, and I will see you another day in another video. Bye, everybody.